are few advantages that are worth noting that China has over the United States of America. China is not a democratic country, which means they do not change leaders so often. Think of the short man Victor Gao, who said, we only change policies, we don't change leaders. In the West, you change leaders a lot. So in China, they can make plans for long term and they can see to it and locked into that goal to make sure it's achieved. It means China have been planning on how to deal with a situation like this for years and for decades, because they knew this was going to come and they have been planning on how to deal with the United States of America. But compared to the United States of America, which is a democratic country, this tariff game that the United States of America is playing today was brought by Donald Trump 2 months ago. It might mean that they don't have a plan long term on how to carry this through. Courtesy of their democracy, it means leaders change so often, and when one leader comes, everything else is changed. When Trump started this tariff game in the previous administration, he was moved out by Joe Biden, and Joe Biden would come in with his own idea, his own policies, and Trump comes back again. He's putting different policies and different ideas, which means they do not have long-term plans to deal with this situation. So we can safely say the United States of America have no long-term game plan to see this through. This was an immaturely conceived game plan for the United States of America. Compared to China, is well prepared and they have a game plan to deal with this. So the United States of America is likely going to be embarrassed in that case. And also, one thing to consider, you must remember that courtesy to democracy, Donald Trump can also lose his power anytime. The citizens of the United States of America can grow dissatisfied or uncomfortable with what Donald Trump is doing if they feel any pain, and they will choose to wake up tomorrow and protest everybody and be able to remove Donald Trump. And also remember, the midterms are coming, and also this is his last 5 years anyway, because he can only be president for 2 terms. So 5 years might not be long enough to effect any change, whereas the Chinese government is going to be the same for decades to come, and they can see all their plans through. Point number 2, because China is not a democracy, their information, their top secret information is highly concealed. Whereas the United States of America is an open book, courtesy to democracy. Everything that happens, majority of them is out in the public. All the debates, all the fallouts, all the differences within the leadership are out in public. So the Chinese government has an advantage because they have all the information on what the Trump administration is trying to do. Whereas what Beijing does, nobody knows. We will only find out with the results. You can see whatever happened before with AI and everything. All we have seen is them releasing something, but we never knew that they were working on anything until they publish it. So the Chinese government can be able to plan for the United States of America because they know what the United States of America is planning and what they're trying to do, whereas the United States of America and the world have no idea what the Chinese is planning to do. Hence another win for the Communist Party of China. Number 3, because China is not a democracy, the business is heavily controlled by the Communist Party. So it is easy for them to champion everyone in one direction. Whereas in the United States of America, the opposite is true. When these people say we must put also tariffs on these other small countries so that China does not find backdoors, they are lying. The United States of American businesses are the ones who go through those backdoors because they want to trade with Chinese companies so that they can enjoy those advantages that they have on manufacturing, which is cheap labor and cheap manufacturing costs. So the United States of America can choose to do one thing and the businesses can choose to do something else. But in China, the opposite is true. When the Chinese Communist Party decides one thing and everybody else is required to follow suit and walk in one line and march in a single file towards one direction and one goal. That's another win for the Communist Party. The fourth advantage of China is because they are the manufacturer of the world. They manufacture more than the United States of America. In fact, the United States of America depends on China for manufacturing. So if trade between the two countries was to stop today, the country which will suffer the most is the United States of America, because this is the one that depends more on China, because it's the one who is waiting for products coming from China. But China does not suffer a lot because they can still trade with other countries, and also they still make things for themselves. But the United States of America, for them to all of a sudden generate new industries, new factories, and start making their own things all over again, it's gonna take time. It's not overnight. So that's another win for China. The fifth advantage that China has over the United States of America is the rest of the world. Listen, the United States of America, when they were at the top alone, unchallenged, the US chose terrible foreign policy. Yes, they decided to create chaos and bully everybody else when they were at the top. The US went around the whole world creating wars, bombing everybody, destroying other countries, regime change agendas, a whole lot of terrible things which robbed them of good friends around the world. And the Chinese, as they were rising up, they came and said to the world, we are a good friend as compared to the United States of America. So you would rather be with us than the United States of America. So China has more friends than the United States of America. And especially in this tariff war, where the United States of America is actually pissing off its best allies. It's actually a shame that China is actually trying to gain those friends of the United States of America, and they might gain them. So there you have it. That's my opinion on the advantages that China actually has in this trade war.